Joining me today, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us. Always appreciate your time and attention here. A few weeks ago, Kevin and I did a pretty great webinar just about creating bulletproof follow-up, which is going to be super necessary in a virtual age. And it kind of got us down this topic of what is the business going to look like going forward, with half of the country returning to in-person events, the other half of the country punting until 2021 and possibly beyond. The virtual aspect of this business, obviously, I think is going to take a step back as in-person events begin to pick up, because everyone, that's not fair to say, most people really like in-person events. But virtual is going to play a role in your business. And if it's an asset of your business that you leave out, then you're probably going to get left behind by the people who continue to incorporate it. So Kevin and I are talking today just about what the virtual side of the business can look like going forward, and then what role Chime can actually play in your business from the virtual side. We responded very aggressively to the COVID-19 event in terms of our dev team and what we were doing to empower our clients to thrive in a virtual environment. And this is a piece of functionality that is going to have an impact in their business from, March when this broke out onward. And that piece of functionality is the ability to stream live through your Chime website versus streaming on Facebook or YouTube or Zoom for that matter. Just now, Kevin and I
was going to say, we just learned that lesson again, right, Randy?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we sure did. And I found out recently too that YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers, I think, in order to post live. So for some of you with active YouTube accounts, that's great. But a lot of people don't, especially if you're just now getting into it. Finding 1,000 subscribers to YouTube is no small feat.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah, our Chime CRM's subscription number is at like 921. We haven't aggressively promoted it, but we're still a company with thousands of users and less than 1,000 subscribers, right? So it's tough.
Yeah, not easy to do, that's for sure. Yeah, man, you know what I loved? So obviously the conversation last time was good, but then we got on this whole conversation of what is it? Whatever the hell normal is going to be. Sorry if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
I think, I heard it best yesterday. Someone said well, you might want to redefine what you think normal is, because as things have started to get, I'll call it more normal. My kids, as an example, they get to go back to in-person schooling here in about 2 weeks. And that's a step towards normal, but trust me, that ain't going to be normal. And having dividers and probably having to wear masks during classroom. So that's at least they're in person, but it's definitely not normal from 6 months ago. And so I think while that's totally has nothing to do with the real estate business, I think it has absolutely everything to do with it, because we're going to experience the same thing in our business, right? You mentioned events, but we also talked about all the different things that we've done in our businesses as we've had to shift in the last 6 months. The reality is some's going to shift back and feel a little more, quote, normal. And then we're also going to have to adapt to a lot of this stuff that we were forced into, 5-6 months ago.
Mm-hmm. So I think this is also an opportunity for the business to operate significantly more efficiently as well, though. Traveling around and listening to professionals speak as much as I've had, a lot of folks talk about replacing or finding somebody to be a showing agent, and their only job is to show homes, which is an arduous task. You're talking about drive time, prep time, going out and showing multiple different days, multiple properties. An individual showing itself is 15 minutes, but when you have 10 properties all across the city over the course of several days, that's a huge time commitment. So going down this virtual path can go a really long way in shortening the amount of time you actually have to spend showing homes. Like, what do you think the impact for consumers is going to be in regards to seeing homes, Kevin?
Well, I think there's a good portion of people that are still, I'll use the word cautious, right? And so what I saw more than anything, you and I talked about kind of like the virtual showings, the virtual open houses, et cetera. I think things like that are still going to happen. A lot of the virtual showings, I bet you more of those, those little handheld, like 360-degree cameras, not like your phone, but like Insta360 is one. And I can't think of the other name of one of the more popular ones. Yeah, Theta. I think we're going to continue to see more and more home tours with stuff like that, and people actually seeing homes that way. And in some cases, sellers requiring things like that, maybe not necessarily the video. Because I know some people, I'll just tell you, like, personal experience here. I'm going through a home purchase right now myself, and there's just, stop me if you've heard this before. There's no inventory in the Phoenix area. And so one of the things that I did is I sent a letter out to homeowners in the area that we were looking, and got a ton of great replies, by the way. So that's a non-COVID tip, right? That's a non-virtual tip. Like, those letters still work extremely well. But
what were you putting in that letter? Educate me, because I'm ignorant.
Oh, dude, so I got help from a marketing buddy of mine, but it was a copywriting masterpiece, where I, just told the story of my family and what we were looking for and why it was important to us and why we needed it, and just pulled every heartstring I could, right? Because that's what you got to do. Like, you got to take the gloves off in a fight like this. And what I was really surprised, I wasn't really surprised at the response I got, because I knew it would work. We've done that before. I've done it for clients before anyways. And I've done it for investments before. But what I was surprised at is the number of people who were interested, but just weren't willing to really show their house right now. Like, hey, I might be willing to do this, but until XYZ happens, we get not a cure, but, the shot, whatever the hell, sorry, I've completely lost grasp of the English language today. But until there's something that makes us feel more safe, like, we're not going out, we're not letting strangers in the house. And I was surprised at how many of those responses I got from people who actually would be interested in selling, but they're just not willing to do it right now.
Yeah, they don't want people trekking through their house. I totally get it. I mean, I had an appraiser come in earlier today, and I've had contractors come into the place, and the first thing I say to them, I open up the door, there they are with their mask on. I say to them, hey, are you more comfortable if I put a mask on? And, like, that is not going to be a weird thing for the foreseeable future to say that. Because that's going to be, when the kids are in school, like you're saying, like, this is going to be relatively normal. So getting your mindset in terms of what the new normal is, these types of objections that you're hearing of, I don't want people trekking through my house, like, this is the new normal. This is what you need to train yourself on.
Yeah, I think that's so true. I've gotten, I do the same thing. I go somewhere, actually talked about going through the home buying process. It's like in some homes I'd go into, like, we went to this one house, and right inside the front door, there was a mask, there's a little table set up. It had masks, it had gloves, it had, it had, hand sanitizer, you name it, like, had everything set up. And it was like, hey, that's just not every listing I went into was like that, but there was a couple for sure. Some of them even wanted your feet covered, stuff like that. So there's no doubt there's a lasting impact here. And so if that's happening for the people that are on the market, I think there's tools and stuff that we've got to use. Speaking of a lot, like the streaming options you talked about, like that Chime, worked really hard to push out quickly. There's just things we've got to use to make our business more digital or virtual, if you will, to use those buzzwords.
Absolutely. Well, something I want to ask about too is, you mentioned sellers requiring virtual tours, 3D tours, things of that nature. Like, talk me through some of those conversations, and those in the past, I feel like were reserved for really high priced homes, luxury homes. You've got to be, if you're getting a virtual tour, you're in another class of excellence. But now this is the norm for every home, right? Like, talk to me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it totally is. Like in a lot of ways, you've got to do it just to compete, right? I was actually, this is going to sound funny. I was talking to a photographer the other day who, she's offering the Zillow 360 tours for every single home that she photographs for listings. Like, she's a listing photographer. And so, I mean, that's now become an option that she does on, virtually every single listing. It's just stuff we've got to do, whether it's to take advantage of what I'd call, like, for lack of a better word, the SEO opportunities of it, but also the the requirements from where we're at, just pandemic wise, right? With
Sure.
not having much certainty right now. And there's, the thing is, we got people that feel differently, right? There's some people that are super cautious. There's people that are probably not cautious enough. And then there's probably the majority of us, which are somewhere in the middle. But we've got to be able to talk to all sides. Like, when we're representing a seller, we've got to be able to market to as many people as possible, which means we've got to be versed in these digital opportunities. We've got to be able to do these digital and virtual type of showings and, everything there. And then when we're representing a buyer, some people just aren't going to be comfortable walking through homes. We might have to be the ones to walk through homes with, like, the 360 camera and create our own tour and do those certain things. And I think that's not going away, man. Like, this just isn't a pandemic COVID-19 scenario. This is here to stay.
So this is going to be one of the long-lasting impacts of this style event, right? When you had the Great Recession, the business changed. You've got this event now, business is going to change, and certain things just never go back. There's a great company that I want to give a shout out to, actually, in the world of virtual tours, just in terms of keeping them affordable, right? Because I think one of the big problems, or the big reason why 3D tours was kept for luxury homes, is because the commission check was big and could consequently pay for, the Matterports of the world. But there's another service called iSpy 360. Kevin, you might be familiar with them because they struck a brokerage-wide deal with EXP.
Yeah.
But they're a company that we work with, and actually we offer, you get a special discount if you're a Chime client with iSpy 360. And if I'm not mistaken, you can actually take photos with an iPhone, probably not my iPhone 7, but but if you have a more recent iPhone, I'm pretty sure you can take those photos and they can stitch together a 3D tour for you at an incredibly affordable rate. So for all of you thinking, I'm not going to participate in virtual tours because I'm not going to become this digital photographer, 3D camera expert. Like, look, you already take pictures with your phone. You know how to work a normal camera. Like, there are services out there for you that if you don't use, you will lose listing presentations and get left in the dust.
Yeah, no doubt. This isn't just about adjusting for COVID. This is about, you have to do this level. This is now the standard, right? This is now the floor to be able to do these things. It's no longer acceptable. And, like, trust me, I'm not saying, especially in a hot market like this, I'm not saying you can't sell houses without using these tools, but you're shortchanging yourself and your clients, no doubt. You are absolutely shortchanging them at this point. So yeah, you've got to be able to, you got to adjust, and you've got to be able to use tools like the iSpy. And if, or maybe you do have one of the 360 cameras, whatever the case is, and use some of these tools that, like, Chime has provided and put into play, which, I'd love to. Randy, I don't know if you're allowed to talk about stuff that hasn't been released yet or what's to come, but I at least, can you walk us through, like, a couple of the things that you guys have done video wise, or I'll call it from a digital open house standpoint, that you guys have already created, that some of your clients have used successfully, or you're getting specific feedback on? And then if you've got anything new coming up that you're allowed to share, I'd love some insights on that stuff, because I know everyone wants to know what's coming.
Sure. Yeah, no, I know that's always a hot topic. And so before I jump into that, I'm going to show you today what we actually already have available, right? So we can talk about what's coming here soon enough, but what's already here, what could you sign up for Chime today with and implement in your business, you know, tomorrow, theoretically, right? So the first thing I want to point out is this live listing tour block. Within pretty much any CRM worth its weight, you're going to be able to create landing pages, right? And in the past, you know, you had lead capture landing pages for online leads, single property, multi-property for various forms of marketing. And then you'll see what Chime added is this listing live tour landing page function. And this is a page that everyone who's running an open house should have in their business, because what it's going to do is it's actually going to allow you to stream from either Facebook, Zoom, or YouTube directly onto your Chime website, so that if you are hosting an open house, if you are hosting a first-time buyer seminar, if you're hosting any type of online event, you owe it to yourself and to the event to stream it to your Chime website. And one of the things I want to point out is if someone was talking to me about this, I would ask, well, like, why can't I just send people to my Facebook page or my YouTube page or the Zoom link, right? Well, I only have so many friends on Facebook. I only have a small number of subscribers on YouTube. Zoom links can be a little more difficult for a consumer, right? When you're marketing your open house and you're streaming it through your Chime website, Kevin, we've talked about this, you have tens of thousands of leads in your database. So now you're also talking about marketing to leads that you've never spoken to before, leads you haven't spoken to in months, if not years, if not decades for some of you.
You call me old?
Not you, Kevin. No. But what you're doing is opening up the opportunity to being such a wide group of people that you're going to get more exposure. You're going to be able to buyer match the people in your database with the listing so that you can market to the folks who are looking for homes like that. And then the next benefit is the fact that this live stream is actually going to live in perpetuity on this landing page. So if you have consumers who are asking about it, or you want to send this information out again, you'll have that recording living on this landing page, and you can market it time and time again, and people can get more utility out of it rather than just a one and done type of open house. Got a message from Richard here. Yes, this webinar, we will have a copy of this webinar to review.
No doubt.
So you can see with this landing page, you can name it whatever you'd like. You know, if I guess I would recommend creating this URL to be your address, right? Or the address of the open house. So now everyone knows my address. You know, if you want to add a pocket listing or something like that, you could do that. You know, before everyone bites my head off, I understand the NAR ruling with the pocket listing. So, you know, use that at your own, with your own discretion.
This is where we give the disclaimer that Chime is not your broker. They're not your designated broker, so do not take legal and contractual advice from them.
Yeah, that's not the first time you've said that, Kevin. Yeah, that's exactly right. But anyways, so this is an example of a client's site. I don't know that she actually used this, but you can see that you can post these live listing tours to your social media directly from your Chime site. You can actually create a specific group of leads that you could send this to. You could obviously edit this, but ultimately what the net effect is going to be is, and I'll go to this client's website, you could create a landing page here where they're actually going to be able to see your, open house stream listings. So this is something that, again, is just going to dramatically improve your actual attendance and your engagement. Kevin, how many people did you say you have in your database?
It's about 45,000.
So
it's a couple.
Yeah, 45,000. That's a few leads, right? What are the odds that you get any significant percentage of 45,000 people to attend an open house in person?
Significant, but the odds are really low.
Odds are very low. But I bet a large number of those people come to your website with frequency.
Guaranteed. Right? And I'll bet you a large number of them have I'll call it a search criteria similar to the open house.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly right. And within the Chime platform, if I pull up the listing page, I can actually tell you how many leads match each particular property. So you can see there, there's one match lead here. This is an example of a relatively new client, so her database is ever growing. It's certainly not a 45,000 person database like Kevin's here, but you can see that Lisa may be interested in this particular property because she has these match factors. Now, when you're hosting your open house and you can pull up that listing, you'll be able to select all of the leads that could possibly be interested in that house, and you could send them an email saying, hey, we're hosting an open house, would love for you to join us. If you can't, here's a link, join us virtually.
That's pretty awesome.
I mean, there's it's a high quality engagement that is going to be much more effective than just, hey, I hope you like this. Like, hey, rather than just having them click through photos, which we know is going to become obsolete, right? The virtual tours, the 3D tours, and seeing it in person are going to become far more effective than just the photos. Let's see. We got another question here.
I was going to say, yeah, Curtis, who is on this, he's a current Chime discount. He wants to know how he can get that iSpy 360 discount as well.
Yeah, for any Chime clients, if you go into our Chime user forum, if you're not a member now, you should request access to the Chime user forum. Search iSpy 360 within that group. And I did an interview with the folks over there, kind of going through their product. And in the comment section, I believe I commented a link that if you fill it out, you will get a discount on their monthly subscription. So check it out. If anyone is a Chime client listening right now, please join the Chime user forum. I interview some folks in there pretty regularly with some products we consider best in breed, and we get discounts for pretty much all of our clients, or from pretty much all of the vendors that we talk to. So hopefully we can save you some money that way.
I don't know about you, but I like saving money.
Yeah.
So
really?
Yeah. I don't know if everybody else does or not, but I do. So I would jump on that if I was you guys.
It's suspect. I feel okay about it. What I also want to point out, though, is that what you could also do with these live listing blocks or listing stream features is you could actually add them as individual blocks onto pages that you already have. So the Chime CMS tool is hands down the most powerful within the IDX CRM sandbox that we play in when you consider some of the competitors. If you're looking for a custom website that you're going to pay $10,000 for development for, there's other companies that do that. But within the IDX CRM world, ours is definitely the most powerful. And you can actually add live streaming blocks directly to the front of your website, to various other pages within your website. So if you don't want to create a listing, a landing page, but rather you want to tell your potential seller, I can stream your open house to the front of my website and I get 10,000 unique views per month, that obviously is going to carry some weight as well. So,
Yeah, there's no doubt too. Like, and I just want to like, there's one thing to think of like, hey, traffic, but where my mind goes to with this, Randy, is like, because I want more listings, right? So when I'm talking to potential seller, like I want to be able to explain these things, how I'm using these tools to get their house more exposure. Now, listen, you and I, everybody on this call, everyone who's listening to this recorded knows that the reality is like an open house doesn't necessarily sell the house, right? That's mostly for us as realtors. Same thing with this. This is mostly going to do us good. However, one of the ways we can do that though is when we're in appointments with sellers, show them these tools that we have at our disposal that Chime gives us to be able to expose the house more. Everybody wins then, right? Because like now they go, oh, that's powerful. Like I promise you the other agents they're talking to, like 9 out of 10, maybe even more, are not doing a good job talking about the tools that they have at their disposal. Whether they have them or not, they're not talking about them. And so when you do a good job of explaining to the potential client, like, hey, here's how I'm gonna be able to put this in front of X amount of people on social. I'm gonna be able to put this in front of X amount of people within my own database who have already shown me that they're searching for a home like this. I'm gonna be able to do X, Y, and Z. You stand out the more detail you can give, especially when it comes to these digital opportunities. So I wanna make sure that you guys are not just looking at this from the standpoint of like, cool, I want to sell my house and I want to be able to operate digitally in this new environment, but also how can I use this to my advantage? What are the scripts I need to create to use this to my advantage to lock down more clients?
what would happen? What would it mean for your business if Chime helped you win, 20% more of your listing appointments? Like,
you can win 20% more. I mean, it's almost incalculable, or you're not going on enough appointments, in which case you need every single bit. So you better get that extra 20%, right?
yeah.
But the reality is, yeah, if you can go, like, let's say, depending on source, right? It all matters source, usually when it comes to conversion rate, in addition to skills and soft skills and sales skills, things like that. However, let's say you're getting 5 out of 10 because maybe it's a mix of cold and warm. And so 5 out of 10, maybe 6 out of 10 if you're pretty good. If I can bump you from 6 to 7 or from 6 to 8, that's huge. Like that's a game changer for most businesses, especially even if it's whether you're a solo agent or you've got a big team. Anytime you can bring in an extra listing or two, I think we all know the power of that.
Absolutely. Well, the ability to turn one listing into several other transactions, I think that goes without saying. If you're doing 10 listing appointments per month, I don't know, maybe that's a lot, maybe that's a little, but I'm bad at math. So I need 10 listing appointments per month, and we help you pick up 2 additional listings because you have technology that other agents don't have or aren't using. Picking up 2 extra listings a month, 24 extra listings a year is a powerful piece of technology that is going to give you a significant return on your investment.
Yeah, I mean, think about that. So even if you're in a market where the average sales price might only be 250,000, here in Phoenix, where we're north of 3 at this point, and that's even if you don't charge. I don't know if I can actually talk about commissions on this, but I mean, let's do the math. Whatever your average commission is times 2 times 12, do that. That's a lot of income, not just to the top line and to the bottom line when you really look at it. And again, I don't care how big of a business you are. If you give me the opportunity to get 2 more deals, yeah, that doesn't sound like a lot. We're gonna sell 300 houses anyways. But if I can do 324 instead of 300, or 400 instead of 375, like all day long, like that's a game changer. And in a business ours where if you're in a business where it's a little more scaled, or in the earlier stages, you're probably at a point where literally every deal brings more profit, right? So for us, I know once we close our first handful of deals every month, like each one that closes gets exponentially more valuable to us with every closing, right? Same thing if you're a solo agent, you're doing this on your own, or maybe you just have an assistant and luckily you don't have like a ton of overhead. every single deal brings home a lot of money to the bottom line. So it's valuable no matter what stage you're at.
Yeah, this is a really excellent business coaching moment right here, everyone. For your listening, watching, whatever. Kevin knows the number that his business needs to hit for him to break even for the month, and then that plus one makes money. So he hits a certain number, he breaks even, he can keep the lights on. Every deal after that is significantly more valuable, like he just said. My question to you is, do you know that number? Do you know what number that you need to hit in order to break even for the month, and then consequently how much more valuable deals are after that? Not really related to the virtual world, but that's a business coaching moment that I would wonder if enough agents know the answer to. So just wanted to point that part out, because what Kevin's doing and what the information he knows about his business is a significant aspect of running a successful business.
I'm on mute. I do it all the time. I mute so you don't have to hear me taking a drink and all the other crappy noise I make in the background. And then I start talking. It happens to me every single webinar
I get it.
that I've ever done. But I mean, yeah, like that's the deal. Like here's the thing. Like if you're going to invest in something like a technology like Chime, and I'm a big believer in investing in technology, like in systems for your business. I'm a big believer in that. Then one of the other things you've got to do is you have to hold it accountable, but you've also got to, you've got to hold the dollars accountable that you spend on it, but you also have to hold yourself accountable to taking advantage of the opportunities that it brings. So Randy, I know you've seen this, man, because you've been in technology sales for a while, and you've been around a lot of small business owners and realtors. It's easy to like watch a webinar and go, oh, wow, it can do all these things. And then you sign up and then they never tap into it. And quite frankly, they kind of wasted their money. And it's really, yeah, the company makes some money for as long as they stay as a customer, but it's not really good money because they eventually go away. And what happens is we as agents, we think it's the company or the vendor that we bought from. And when in reality, almost every single time it's us not digging into what we saw that made us want to sign up in the first place. So if you're going to sign up for Chime, and I think you should, it's a great technology, or if you're already a customer of Chime, then what I want you to do is challenge yourself to go a little bit deeper into the tools. And if you're not talking to your reps there, and if you're not in the forum and finding out what people are doing to get the most out of it, like you're missing stop spending the money. Like just stop. Like you've got to go in there and dig deeper. Too many of us, especially in a market like this where things are hot and crazy, we just do what's right in front of us, and instead of going deeper. And we got to go deeper. I read it this way today. I was reading a tweet. There's a guy who runs a newsletter business, tweeted something about like, hey, especially early on when you're sending out a newsletter, and we all do, right? We all do that. Maybe not all of us, but a lot of us do that. We send newsletters, maybe not as a business, but part of our business. Especially early on, put way more energy into the replies than to the unsubscribes, because it's so much more valuable to go deeper than it is to worry about the surface level of wider.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, Kevin, we might have talked about this in the past, about how important it is to define your voice and your personality, because you are going to attract the people who are like you. And when you try to become neutral and vanilla and you don't necessarily appeal to anyone, then you just become white noise, right? You're able to go deeper with the people when you show them your actual personality, and that's going to earn you a group of raving fans, which is going to generate a tremendous number of referrals and business down the line.
And that's what it's all about. Like, and here's the other thing too. Sorry. Like, I know we're talking about using these tools and stuff, so I don't want to get too far off of it on a tangent, but here's the deal, guys. We're in a crazy time in real estate where we've got all of these other companies coming in, right? That are like, I'm not going to, Zillow doesn't scare me, but they're there. I believe Zillow is the #1 brand in residential real estate. It's my belief. You don't have to agree with me. I believe Open Door is gaining steam. They just had a merger to go public. Like that means more money for them, guys. So while there's more companies out there that are able to, I'll say, disrupt the traditional way business is being done.
Mhm.
What we need to do is align ourselves with companies who want to be a tool for us, right? Who want to be a partner with us, a company like a Chime, because if we're going to compete, number one, we've got to have technology too. But number
Mhm.
two, most importantly, like we've got to use it and get deeper in relationship with those people we already know, those people that are already in our database, those people that are already clients that we want to become second and third clients, and using tools like this is like a perfect example. So, all right, I'll get off my soapbox on that. Sorry, Randy.
No, I mean, trust me, I've worked for multiple technology companies in this space now, and it's so funny when I hear from people say, oh, you know, this product doesn't do this or Chime doesn't do that. And I just look at them, I'm like, with all due respect, yeah, we do. Yeah, they do. People just don't go deep enough into the product and are quick to point fingers and say they didn't train us well enough. Well, if you will, I would like to open back up my screen share because there's this piece of functionality in the support conversation of Chime that I think is very, very valuable because I had not seen this before. So again, well, let me first say, this doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but I have never seen this before within the CRM space in our industry. This show me how feature, and this is something that we're even ramping up as a part of the what's coming soon within Chime world. Like we're adding even more functionality to this, so it's going to be even more complete. But in Chime, if you're trying to learn how to do something, you can just type in here, I want to add a tag to somebody. When you click on this, when you click on what you're trying to do, the system's going to gray out the screen and point to exactly what you need to be doing. Click tags and sources. Okay. So I come down here, click tags and sources, right? You see how it's giving me exactly what I need to do in order to go deeper into the platform. So this show me how feature, I think can be really, really powerful in that next step of diving into the platform.
That's awesome. I noticed some other features on there too that we should probably, more people should be asking about, but maybe that's another webinar or another conversation. All right, dude. So we're coming up. You know, we've been going for a little over 40 minutes now or so. What have we missed, man? What do we need to cover today, or what are a couple of the hot buttons that you see, both maybe with your clients that are already customers of Chime, and for the agents that aren't yet a customer of Chime, but they might be interested?
Sure. So the one thing I want to point out about Chime is I mentioned earlier we're in the IDX CRM space. You might notice I didn't say digital advertising or lead generation, right? A lot of companies say we're lead gen CRM solution. Yes, Chime offers digital advertising. We are very satisfied with the way our Dare ads perform. We offer Google PPC, et cetera, but that is not where we hang our hat, and that's not where we associate our value. There's a lot of digital advertisers out there. There's a lot of great individuals. There's a lot of great services. People find a lead source that works for them and stick with it, right? That's always been my advice. If you're spending money on a lead source and it's working for you, stick with it. If you are, farming the heck out of your sphere of influence and great at gathering referrals, like stick with it. There's really little reason to invest into a lead source you're not successful with. Chime as a platform is fluid enough to help you increase your conversion with all of these lead sources. We're lead agnostic, as we say. So if your business is run exclusively offline or it's exclusively run online, we are able to mix and match the system to work perfectly within your business. So that's something that people conceptually need to know about Chime, is that we're lead agnostic. We can just tell you with absolute certainty, if you put your leads into the Chime CRM, you will convert more of them than you convert today. That is what I can say with absolute certainty. and we have hundreds of clients to back that notion up with.
That's awesome. What else? Anything else, or any other resources? Like if someone wants more information here, where can people go? Like, what can they do?
Go to chime.me. Chime.me. Don't go to chime.com. It's going to be an online bank. We're not going to ask for your social security number to create a bank account. Chime.me is the website you can go to. Fill out a form there. We'll get you a personalized demo so you can go through the depths of the program. Really, really important to see the demo of the product rather than just talk about it. So check out chime.me, fill out a form, and we'll reach out to schedule a demo. Cool.
And we'll get a record. You already said this, you'll get a copy of this out to everyone. If anybody else has any follow-up questions, I can probably point them directly to you.
Yep.
And then, do me a favor, if you could, Randy, will you send me those links that you just mentioned? And I want to get those. We'll post this. We'll share this inside the Next Level Agents Facebook group. Hopefully next time we do this, we won't have those Zoom problems. But I want to be able to get that information out there for everyone. Like, guys, here's the deal. There's a ton of companies out there that do what Chime does or part of what Chime does. I think that not all of them do some of the things that Chime does really well, nearly as well as Chime does. But at the end of the day, they've got a great team. And I think that matters so much when it comes to your technology partners. And so if you're even thinking about it, you want to take a look at something different than what you're at. If you're not happy with what you have, or maybe you're just ready for that kind of that next step up, that next level of technology, man, I can't say enough about these Chime guys. There's the other guy, Mike, who I know. We won't say too many nice things about him, but
his ego doesn't need it.
Yeah, right. So, but Randy and Mike are two of the most coolest guys I know in the business. I've known them for both a couple of years now, and you want to be in business with those guys. And even if you're not in business with those guys, they'll always have your back and your best interest in mind. So reach out, give them a shout, and let them know what you need help with.
Absolutely. And mention Kevin in LA, mention this webinar, and we're going to give you guys a discount too. So,
oh, sweet.
If no other reason, reach out to find out what the discount is.
Again, I like discount. I'm a big fan of discounts, so I love that.
Who pays retail anymore anyways?
I mean, I'm always asking for off retail, that's for sure. Maybe that's the negotiator in me. All right, man. Well, we're going to get running. Unless you got anything else for parting shots, Randy?
Guys, embrace this, lean into it, challenge yourself to lead within your own sphere in terms of living in this interacting in this virtual world. Your business will thank you for it.
Totally agree. All right.
Awesome. Kevin, thank you, sir. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you all, and we'll talk next time.
We'll talk soon, buddy.